tinged.
Right. Like, I think he's one of the few that you can kind of say that the term dog whistling is it's too subtle.
Yeah, it's just a whistle.
It gives him too much credit, right? Right. So, you know, following his win, there were all of these diagnostics about what actually caused it. And the fact that he was so expressed where other people have been subtle made one camp kind of form that say it was primarily, and sometimes even exclusively about racism. And another camp emerged that said, well, he was also speaking to a lot of populist themes. He really talked about trade a lot and activated people's resentment around the TPP. And for some reason, these have been kind of painted as mutually exclusive rationale. Mm-hmm. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that the effort to divide race and class has always been the tool of the powerful to prevent everyday working people from taking control of the government that is supposed to work for them. And so you see this, and so I think you actually see the beginnings of this. You know, 2016, I think, was a really stark example of this. But you actually see some of the roots of this, and you see a lot of the roots of the issues that we have right now really start to take hold in the late 70s and during the 80s. And one perfect example, I think a perfect example of how special interests and the powerful have pitted white working class Americans against brown and black working class Americans in order to just screw over all working class Americans is Reaganism in the 80s when he started talking about welfare queens. Mm-hmm. So you think about this image, welfare queens. And what he was really trying to talk about was this, he was painting this photo, he's painting this like really resentful vision of essentially black women who were doing nothing, that were sucks on our country, right? And it's this whole tragedy of the commons type of thinking where it's like, because this one specific group of people that you are already kind of subconsciously primed to resent, you give them a different reason that's not explicit racism, but still rooted in a racist caricature. It gives people a logical reason to say, oh yeah, no, toss out the whole social safety net.
Yeah.
And then as a result, we are all devastated. And what we're dealing with in 2016, I think, was like the reckoning of that again, which is, wages have stayed flat for 30 years. Our nation is being more productive and more wealthy as a whole than ever before, but that wealth is being enjoyed by a very small amount of people. And the reason for it is not systemic inequality or runaway hypercapitalism or the fact that we've taken away all the guardrails of a responsible society. The reason is Mexicans, and that's the reason.